Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Danny as usual, and today, as you can see, we're in my shed. On my cart gear behind me. Anyway guys, getting off subject. Today's video is all about how I prepare my spod mix and what I use and how I prepare it, how I cook it, how I soak it. I'll be running through all of that with you. So let's get straight into it, and first of all we're going to have a look at the unprepared particle mix that I will be using, and this is it now. And this is what I get. I get a big 20 kilo, 25 kilo bag, and it's full of lovelies. We've got some in a small pot here, just so you can see all different grains and seeds, bit of maize, corn, chickpeas by the looks of it, all sorts in there, lovely little concoction. And as you can see, that is bone dry and needs preparing. So what we're going to do next is put the required amount into a bucket like this. Right, the thing to bear in mind is it's going to swell to double the size, so whatever you want to take, so if you want to take that bucket full up, I would only fill it half full with unprepared spod mix, because once the time it's soaked all the water up, it is going to actually fill that bucket. So let's get on with it. Right, just going to start filling this up. Once it's full, I'll show you what we're left with. Right, so as you can see, that is now the required amount that we will be needing to fill that tub fully up with spod mix. So right, I'm going to take this down to the house in a moment. I'm going to fill it up with water, show you how much water you roughly need in there, and then we'll come back tomorrow and show you exactly what it looks like once it's been soaked for approximately 12 hours or so. Right. As you can see, we've just transferred that into a large metal pan that I have used once before for spray painting. Only the outside mines. I used to get into some artwork with the spray paints, but yeah, that's another story. Anyway, you can see all the grains in there, ready for pre-soak. So back inside now, and we have our grain, and we are about to soak it. So as you can see, we've got the grain here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this up to about here first of all, and then I'm going to empty it a couple of times back out again and get rid of all the residue that's on the seed. As you see, fill this up. And as we agitate this up, you'll see the colour of the water change. Really murky, dark colour. Turn that back off again. You can see the colour of the water. You can see the colour of the water now. So all I'm now going to do is just empty the water away, trying to capture as much of the grain as I can. You will lose tiny bits, but that can't be helped really. But yeah, let's go ahead and do that. see, we filled that up to just underneath the brew of it. Left a couple of inches in the top there just to allow it to swell up. And yeah, we'll come back in the morning and we'll see how that looks. Right, so here we go, 14 hours after I first put this into soak. And you can see it's right near the top now. It's really swollen up, and as you can see, it's about 3 inches under the surface. Right, all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a strainer. I'm just going to go over the top and get rid of some of this floating dead stuff. We'll put a tad more water in there. As I say, there's about 1 inch of water above the surface of the mix in there. So, right, a tad more water. Right, so we're just going to get that up to temperature. Got a hood going. Sorry about the noise. We're just going to get that up to temperature. Once that starts boiling, we're going to reduce the heat. And then we're going to keep stirring it every couple of minutes so it doesn't stick to the bottom. We're going to keep it boiling for about 40-45 minutes, and then after that we're going to leave it cool down, strain it off a bit, put a little cold water in there just so it keeps it nice and reserved ready for when we go. We will add some salt into it when we're finished as well, and we have got a secret ingredient going in it later on, which we'll show you later. Slowly getting to a boil. See it all starting to froth up nicely now, all the gunk coming to the top. Keep stirring it even at this stage, because you've got quite a high flame. I've moved that forward onto the big burner now, just so I can get it to boiling point a bit quicker. But we're nearly there. You can start to see the first few bubbles just coming up. It'll soon be boiling. Right, I'm just going to remove some of this rubbish from the top. Oh, you don't need all that froth. Right, now we've got some bubbles going in. I'll take that out. Well, I'll turn the heat off about 2:30, 45 minutes from now. I'll let them bubbles get a little bit more ferocious first, and I'll turn the heat right down and just let it simmer away. Right, 2:30, time to check. So generally what I'll do now, give one last stir up. I've been doing this literally every 2 or 3 minutes. What we want to do is try and have a look and get very hot. Now I find these little bits of corn to be the hardest thing in the actual mix itself, and I know it's cooked properly if that will break quite easily with a bit of pressure. So keep cooking it until it does break under a tiny bit of pressure with the thumb, and then you know that is going to be a lot more easily digestible for the fish. Right, so we've had the 45 minutes, that is now cooked. We're going to give that 5 minutes just to stop boiling up, and then we will replace some of the water with cold water and cool it down a little bit. And I have got to knock up another little batch, and I do need the tub, so we will try and cool this down as quick as possible, and we'll put it in another container. But that is looking absolutely spot on. Can't wait to get out at the weekends and use it. Right, I shall be back shortly. Oh, and if you hang about till the end, guys, or later on in the video, you'll see the secret ingredient that I'll be using to really make this cloud up in the water. So stay tuned for that. Right, now, as you can see, it's just cooled down a little bit. I'll take a strainer, and I'm not going to get rid of all the water in there because all the smell and that goodness is all still in there. So I'm going to get rid of about half of the contents of water and replace it with cold water. Oh, we've got rid of some of that water now. Now we're just going to add some cold. That should do nicely. Yep, that's cooled it down enough. So it's still warm. Right, at this stage, you can get a little bit of salt. Himalayan salt would have been a lot better, but for now, this is all I've got. So I'm going to get a nice big portion of that in there. A good stir around, and that is pretty much how it's going to stay. I'm now going to transfer that into my big green tub. Right, so now we've got that in the container, we're going to put that out in the garden, let that cool off, and that'll be ready for our trip at the weekend. Right, so now we've got our spod mix all made up, all looking lovely, ready to go. I'm not going to introduce my special ingredient until we're on the bank, but what I probably will do, no, sorry, I am going to do, is I'm going to put a good glug of this in. It's predominantly banoffee that I'm using all week, this weekend, so I've got this one here, the stick mix, or I have the A2 glugs, but I'm going to keep hold of that one because it's nice, you can easily glug your boilies in there. I'm going to keep hold of that one. So we're going to take the lid off of this, lid off, and give that a nice, you know what, I'm going to use all of it, really get that in there. And get that good stir around. That's going to give it a nice, attractive smell. Let that all soak in there. Now, the reason I put best part of a full bottle in there is because you're going to need quite a bit. If you don't put enough in there, then it's just going to get lost in the smell of the actual. Oh, that smells a treat, man. You've got the smell of the spod mix and you've got that banoffee smell coming through as well. Yeah, it's quite a unique smell. We're also going to throw some dead maggots in there as well on the day. So yeah, right, we will see you on the bank. Right, so down at the lake now, and we've got our spod mix. I've got a couple of final ingredients I'm going to add. First of which, some dead maggots that have been in the freezer. Nice little attractant. There's about a pint and a half in there. And they're just going to go in there like that. But we've got one last ingredient, and this is the special ingredient. Carnation milk, caramel flavoured. Now this is nice and thick, gloopy, and I'll show you a demonstration of what it looks like in the margins when it goes in, and it is going to give off such a big cloud of attraction, it is untrue. So without further ado, let's get this in. Look at that, look. It's just it's really thick and don't even want to come out. So use a bang stick, got nothing else to hand. Get that in there. But it is really thick gloopers. If anything's going to catch me in a fish, it's going to be the cloud that this gives off. It's phenomenal. Right, I think it's about as much as I'm going to get out of that. Nice and clean. Right, I'm going to mix all this in. Actually might use the bang stick on this as well, give it a good old stir up. Really get that in there. Now that. Is looking absolutely beautiful. And to smell it as well, even better. Always important, shake that down, puts all the weight in the bottom, gives you a better cast. On the spud rod I'm using a 30-pound braid. We've got about, I can't remember the actual size of it, but we have a shock leader on there. I think it's around between 40 pound. Just helps take any of the shock out of it right at the end. Stops you from losing your scan.